Hello and welcome to Camping Corner. We are going to talk about the Black-Eyed Susan Stakes on Friday at Pimlico, and I thought about whether or not to include this with the Preakness Stakes video, but I thought it would be easier to separate them, especially since they're on separate days. And we're just going to talk about the fillies first, and it'll give me more time to think about the Preakness, because that is a hard race. So let's talk about the fillies. We're going to start off with the favorite Runnin Gunnin, and let's see who I'm going to pick in this race. Number 4, Runnin Gunnin is the morning line favorite at 5-2, and she was third in the Fantasy Stakes, but she lost by 9.5 lengths, so she wasn't even close to Quietside or Simply Joking. And before that, she won the Sunland Park Oaks, and that was probably a weak field, and she won an allowance race at Sam Houston, a lower tired track, so I don't know if I like her in this race. She's a closer, and I don't see a lot of speed. And we're going to go down and look at the pace figures for Breeze. And we're going to show the pace figures for each filly in their last start. You see early pace last race, and you see the top fillies, 94, 93, 92, they're all in the low 90s. I would consider anything 100 or above fast on Breeze. And you see they're all in the low 90s. There's not really a crazy speed horse in this race. And I just don't know where the pace will come from for Runnin Gunnin. She will have to overcome the pace. And I think you can do better than 5-2 on this filly, although I question whether or not she will really be the favorite. Let's move on. I prefer number 3, Margies Intention, who starts for Brad Cox for the first time, and Flavien Prat hops on board, but those are not the only reasons I like her. She was second in a state-bred race at Fairgrounds on March 22, but if you watch the race, you'll notice that the winner, Blue Fire, she had the race controlled from start to finish. And let's watch the race. Let's watch half the race. Here we go with the Crescent City Oaks. Blue Fire's on the lead. Margie's Intention is making a move on the outside. And Blue Fire, I don't know if the fractions were that slow on paper, 23.65, 47.32, but sometimes with pace setters, it's more about having that cushion and not having to look another horse in the eye. And I believe Blue Fire had that kind of trip. And so even though the fractions don't look that slow, I believe Margie's Intention was still compromised by the fact that Blue Fire controlled the race from start to finish. And here was Margie's Intention on the outside with the Blaze, the White Blaze. She was trying hard, and I don't knock her for finishing second in this race, a state-bred race. Blue Fire is a good filly. We're going to take a look at her Equibase really quick. And you see here that Blue Fire ran second in the 8 Bell Stakes on Derby weekend at Churchill Downs. So she has some quality to her, even though she's a state-bred filly. And I don't think there's any knock against Margie's Intention for losing the Crescent City Oaks. Blue Fire had things her own way, and she backed it up by running second in a Grade 2 race. So, now Margie's Intention enters the Black-Eyed Susan, a Grade 2 race, and I think she fits well here. And the switch to Brad Cox might help. Flavien Prat is a great jockey, and either she can press the leader or stalk the pace. Flavien Prat has options. She's my choice for this race. I know she might be the favorite, but that's okay. I could take 5-2 or 2-1. Maybe nothing lower than 2-1. The next filly I want to talk about is Amarth, and I want to point her out because she has a class advantage. She was 5th in the Ashland Stakes, but those were better fillies, so I could forgive a 5th in a Grade 1 race if she's racing in a Grade 2. And she was second in the Busher Invitational, and she lost to Drexel Hill, who we know was second in the Kentucky Oaks. Let's take a look at that race. We catch them in the stretch of the Busher. We have Amarth fighting for the lead with Volleyball Princess, and it looks like Amarth is going to take the lead and go on to win. But you see Drexel Hill in third. She keeps plugging away, and Drexel Hill will split horses and go on to win. Did Amarth see her? She tries to go with her a little bit, but Drexel Hill gets the better of her at the end. And it makes me concerned that the limit for Drexel Hill might be a mile to a mile 1/16th, even though she did win at a mile 1/16th against Blessed or Broken, who was another good filly. I believe she was third in the Kentucky Oaks, but I don't know if Amarth wants to go a mile 1/8. And I feel better about Margie's Intention, because if you look at Margie's Intention's past performances, I like the fact that Margie's Intention struggled at 6 furlongs, and then they stretched her out to 1 mile, and then she immediately had an 11th length win Although maybe the slop helped, that's another thing. The slop could help Margie's Intention. And I'm not completely sure why Amarth wants to go a mile and 1/8. Although she is a win contender, she could be used underneath as well. And I will move on to other fillies. She'll be in my top three in this race. I want to touch upon Paris Lily and Liam in the Dust. They both come out of an optional claimer on April 6th at Keeneland, and Paris Lily had the lead in that race, and she had a 94.95 for E1, E2, so she could take advantage of the pace in this race. I did say there's not a lot of pace. I still question how good she is, because I don't think highly of Liam in the Dust. I haven't trusted her since the Pocahontas Stakes. We're going to take a look at her quickly. You see, Liam in the Dust, she had a 45 length loss in the Alcibiades, although that was a grade 1. But still, she lost by 45. She lost by 23 lengths in the Busher in that same race where Amarth was second. And those were pretty bad races. She's capable of losing by 20, 30 lengths. She did run well in the optional claimer against Paris Lily. I don't know what to make of her. I'm just going to put both of them underneath. Paris Lily, Liam in the Dust, maybe third and fourth. Or maybe use them underneath in exactas or trifectas. But I don't like either of them on top. And we're going to move on to the summary. Margie's Intention is my pick for the Black Eyed Susan Stakes. I do think Amarth is a contender too, and it won't surprise me if Amarth wins this race, but I'm just going to single Margie's Intention and see what happens, especially if it rains. If it rains, Margie's Intention moves up, and she's my pick for this race either way. She has tactical speed, and she ran second to a good horse in Blue Fire. Margie's Intention, my pick for the Black Eyed Susan. Stay tuned for my Preakness video.